Hey, you feel that? You are now tuned into You Feel That with Bryce the Third. Yo, and welcome to another episode of You Feel That with Bryce the Third, the best podcast there is for high-level entrepreneurs looking to learn how to master their emotions. Here's where we learn to become compassionate, understanding servant leaders one episode at a time. I am, of course, your host, Bryce the Third. I just want to show off my hoodie for a second. Can I show off my hoodie? Oh, snap. Oh. Hoodie from Love Yourself. Shout out my man's Munch. I want to welcome regular listeners and new listeners alike, especially this episode, my regular listeners, because I know y'all are damn tired of me shifting and switching. But I know y'all not, because I know y'all love the process. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. How can I be confident in what I know and still allow for growth? For those just joining us for the first time, the big question is this: how do we as ambitious entrepreneurs learn to master our emotions in a way that allows us to continuously show up and do the next scary thing that could potentially take our careers to the next level? And that's what the focus of the show is, to give the power back to you, you ambitious, forward-thinking human being. So today I want to cover the question: how can I be confident in what I know and still allow for growth? And this is something that I've had a bit of a boxing match with, because those who know me know that I love the saying, like, I don't know shit, right? And this is not in a disempowering way, but in a way that allows for me to have humility and seek what it is that I don't know versus getting hung up on how much it is that I do know. And when thinking about my personal experience, like, the more that I learn, the more I find out I don't know. Like, everything that I uncover, there are 5 things underneath what it is that I uncovered to uncover. And then under those things, when I uncover those, there's 5 more things under those. It's just like this continuous process of like learning. And in being a teacher, I want to teach in that manner. I want to teach in a manner where, okay, one, the only person who has direct authority over you is you. The only person who can seek to understand the world and exactly how you need it is yourself. And also to be honest with you and let you know, like, yeah, I don't know shit. And I'm actually just leaving a breadcrumb trail behind me as I figure it out. And that'll be reflected in my business. That'll be reflected in how I show up for you all. That'll be reflected in how I show up for myself. Like, what I needed this month is not the same as what I needed 2 months ago, because I'm learning more and more about all of the things around me in life. And so in business, where it is very important to show up and be an authority in a space and be the solution and being that vehicle that your desired customer, that your desired audience can use to better their lives, unlike any other thing that they've tapped into thus far. And to be that energy of creating a environment where your followers can be raving followers because they're so excited about the change that they're having in their lives. I've learned that there has to be some positioning in the way that, oh yeah, I am the best choice for this. Oh yeah, my company is the best choice for this. And so how do we balance that? So when I say how to be confident and still allow for growth, like, how do we balance being the authority? How do we balance, like, oh yes, I know. Oh yes, I'm the one that you should tap into for this. Oh yes, I've been doing this. And still allow for that thing that allows us to be humble, have humility, and continue to grow, so we can continue to be the best option for those who decide to tap into our following, who decide to tap into our products, who decide to tap into our communities. And the short answer is, it's a practice. Look, I know you was vibing and I hate to interrupt your flow. We're going to get right back to the episode in a second. But I interrupt the program for good reasoning. Look, if you are here listening to You Feel That, the absolute best emotional, mental, and spiritual empowerment podcast for creatives and entrepreneurs, chances are you're either being called to build something and are looking for where to start. You've already defined what it is that you're looking to build and are currently fleshing that out. And you're here looking for encouragement, motivation, and more context for yourself and your business to help you to continue to manifest. Or maybe you've been around the block a few times. You've taken something from ideation to creation. And you know, in order to stay on top of your game and continue to win, you have to stay sharp. And you're here to make sure that you're perpetually the sharpest tool in the shed. So I got to thinking, what is one common problem that all 3 of these people share? Number 1, knowing who we are. We don't know who we are. Even when you achieve something, even when you accomplish something, it can be hard to figure out who we are, because once we accomplish something, things change. Life continuously changes. And in those changes, we continuously change. We cannot stay the same or else we become obsolete. And look, I could just hear your ears perking up. You may not know who you are right now in this season of your life. And number 2, where we're going. Whether this is your first time setting out on your entrepreneurial adventure, or you're a veteran who spent the block a few times, the destination always changes, because when we get there, there's somewhere else to go. And then when we get there, there's somewhere else to go. So a process that allows for us to have a finger on the pulse of our internal compass, regardless of what the external circumstances are, is invaluable to our process of building anything great. All right, I hear your ears perking up again. You don't have a process. So look, you don't know who you are and you don't have no process. What if I told you I wrote a manual to help you discover these things within yourself? I hear those ears perking up again. The Handbook, a pocket guide for creating your desired reality and being a good human while you're at it, is available for purchase right now. Within this book, we dig into and develop a foundation within ourselves of perception, gratitude, understanding, completion, all of the timeless principles that will help you to discover your path for the first time or for the 12th time. This book will help you find yourself or remember who you are, as well as get clear on the pathway towards what it is you're looking to create. If this sounds like something you could benefit from, you need to go ahead and grab your copy. Head on over to brycethe3rd.com/the handbook. The link is conveniently located in the podcast description below wherever you're looking at or listening to this podcast. You can even go on Amazon and search on Amazon The Handbook by Bryce III and grab your copy. When I first got started on my entrepreneurial journey, I wish I had a handbook to help me discover who it is that I am and where it is that I'm going. And now you got one. Grab your copy of the handbook today and unlock the key to your clarity in business and in life. All right, back to the show. A big thing that I've learned in business and in life is that we'll never have all the answers up front. Like we can never sit in a room, a cubed room, like in this room that I'm in. I can never sit in this studio and sit and write down all the things that could possibly ever happen and all of the things that I may experience and that list be accurate, because there is no actual action. There is no experience. I think the experience gives us the ability to see how things are working, how things are not working, and really how we can determine if things are working or not is by having intention. So what is our intention when we show up? Like, what do we want people to do? What do we want for our own lives? And if we see in our experience that what it is that we've intended is not reflected from our experience, then we can pivot what it is that we're doing in a way that allows for us to show up in alignment with our intentions. So take, for instance, my podcast. You Feel That with Bryce III. And those who have been listening, like, you know, like how much we've grown and developed. And I'm reading this phenomenal book by the guy who started ClickFunnels. And he was talking about his podcast, his marketing podcast, which I'm about to start listening to. Thank you for reminding me. But he was talking about how listeners of his podcast was telling him that it wasn't until about like episode 40 or 50 that he began to hit his stride and begin to really talk to who it is that he was meant to talk to, and begin to really like formulate his messaging in a way that resonates with people that he was seeking to speak to. That's when he really started delivering value and started delivering on what he set out to do. Now think about it. I mean, I don't know if you've ever produced a podcast, but if you've ever produced anything, there's a lot that goes into the production of it. And not to discourage anybody, because really it's not a lot, right? But the time and energy that it takes to show up over and over and over again. But that showing up over and over and over again is what builds our capacity to understand what it is that we're doing, having the experience of not knowing how to make things work in the ways that we want them to work, and not knowing how to get the outcome that we have set out to make happen, and learning in that process, split testing and experimenting with different things to see how we can get that outcome to happen. Like, that's how we gain confidence in the first place, because once we see something start working, it's like, oh shit, okay, that's how you do that. And it's not one of those that's how you do that things because somebody told me that's how you do that. That's one of those that's how you do that things because I've showed up and I failed until I got it right, and then I seen, oh, that's exactly how you do that. And it might not even be how you do that, but this is how I can do that and how I can get this result. So when we talking about how can I be confident and still allow for my growth, first we got to build that confidence. And confidence is built upon our wins. And we don't get wins unless we set out to take action. So whatever it is you're trying to do, for those of you who may be listening that are able to eat the meat and spit out the bones here at this podcast and just take something for your emotional wellness, say you were setting out to be in a successful relationship. In this relationship, you wanted to be compassionate and understanding for the individual that you're in a relationship with. And you haven't had the experience of this being the case yet. So you set out, you find somebody, and you go above and beyond to learn how to treat this person with understanding and compassion. And say some things work and some things don't work. And say the things that don't work, maybe they become so overwhelming that you all have to split up and go separate ways. Afterwards, and after you get over the fucking heartbreak and all the shit that comes along with that, what you'll have is your experience that lets you know, like, oh, that's how I contribute to a relationship in such an understanding and compassionate manner. That's how I show up. That's what I appreciated. That's what I loved about this. And I would like to continue to replicate that moving forward. And I know exactly how to do it. That's confidence. So how can I be confident? Go get some experience. Go get some experience. Dip your foot in the water. Don't even dip your foot in the water. Like, jump all the way in. Whatever it is that you're looking to do, like jump in and get some experience. And that experience is going to allow you to build confidence. And once you have so much experience, that confidence can be what guides you to learn more. Because now you have this vehicle of confidence to take you into the next level of your endeavor. Like, oh, I did that. I could definitely do this. Or you'll see people doing some of the things that you want to do, and maybe they're not doing them as well as you've done them because you've had that experience. And it's like, oh, I can do it way better than that, but they're up there, like influence wise. Maybe I can try to do that because I can do it way better than that. It's super important to take action. It's super important to get some action under your belt. I think these things go hand in hand, confidence and a growth mindset, because if we have confidence in ourselves to the point to where it becomes stagnation, like, oh, I know, like the two most dangerous words in the world, if you ask me spiritually, is I know. But even in business, it's like, if I know, I don't even have to tell you I know. I don't have to tell you I know. Like if I know, I know it, and it resonates with me when you say it to me. So maybe I might hear a little variable that you do that I don't do, so that I can implement it in my own stuff, right? So what I find is that the words I know, when people say those things a lot, like it's so reactionary. It's like, oh, you're preventing yourself from understanding something new. You're preventing yourself from growth. Growth listens. Growth mindset, shh. It shuts the fuck up. It shuts up. Even if somebody is telling you something that you know, growth listens. And so how can I be confident and still alive for growth? Well, with the confidence that you cultivated because of the action that you've taken, now you can get yourself into different rooms because you have a bit of confidence, which means you carry yourself in a different way. So now you have access to rooms that maybe you didn't have access to beforehand. Maybe you feel yourself enough to take yourself and put yourself in rooms that you once didn't believe that you belonged in. When you're to this level, remember how you got to this level. You got here by taking action and being humble. So now when you're in these new rooms, to step in these new rooms like, yeah, I'm big shit and I know this and that and I can get this done because I'm the man here. Like step into these rooms and ask yourself the question, what don't I know? What don't I know? For me in business right now, I'm so on fire right now because I took this course by Marcus Rozier on courses and funnels. And he has told me the story about him being like one of the most prolific speakers at this conference, and he was speaking and getting a rise out the crowd, and I'm relating to him because this is what I do, like coming from music and showing up to these environments and knowing how to move a crowd and like bombing so many times on stage to be able to get it right and to be able to connect with an audience and build community. Like that's my jam. Like I show up and if I show up and I hit the stage, somebody gonna be uplifted for real, and then so he's speaking to me when he's saying, yeah, I showed up and I'm getting a rise out the crowd, everybody standing ovation, all type of stuff like that. And then this woman whose conference it was, she gets up there and she makes a call to action at the end of her presentation for her program, which was like $50,000. It was like some type of mastermind or something like that. And you had people that were mad that she had cut it off because she couldn't take anymore. She had reached her capacity for a mastermind. And she made $1 million that day. Afterwards, everybody was coming up to Marcus, grabbing him, saying, can I take a flick with you? Can I get can we take a selfie? Tag me in it, He the superstar of the night. But she made the $1 million and he didn't. So he was like, yo, what don't I know? What don't I know? And he asked her, like, what don't I know that you know? And she proceeded to tell him, and then he invested in the ability to be able to learn that from her. And now he's a mentor of mine. And I could show up in these rooms because there was a lot of talk about like content creation. And I've noticed this too about myself, where like I've been showing up on Instagram making content since fucking 2015. Facebook, Instagram, I've been making videos since 2015. It is now 2022. Y'all do the math. And I can sometimes, I think just recently I got into the season where that became a part of my messaging on Instagram. Like, I've been doing this since 2015 because I'm learning how to paint myself in a position of authority, right? So yeah, I've been doing this since 2015. And it's just like, that just has this air of like, not just confidence, but of entitlement. It has the energy of entitlement. Like, I've been here for this long, so I am the authority. Like, no, no, I ain't made no money on this shit. So it don't matter how long I've been here. What don't I know? Because, bro, you got me here to this course, and I saw you on Instagram. So what don't I know? What can you teach me? and then being open and being willing to allow for that growth, which can add to our confidence. And then we can show up even more confident, especially when we learn new stuff. And then we can take more action, which allows for us to get more experience underneath our belt to see what works for us even more and what doesn't work for us even more. And then we can show up to even bigger rooms. And when we get into those rooms, we have that same humility that allows for us to cultivate more growth. And it's just this process. It's this process. So how can I be confident in what I know and still allow for growth is the question. That is the question. That's the title of this podcast episode, but that is the question. Can you put this question in your heart? And remind yourself, anytime you get too comfortable, especially if you are not in alignment with your intentions. Now, if you're in alignment with your intentions, whatever your intentions is, then it's like, well, there's no improvement to be had because you're in alignment with your intentions. If you're feeling full of joy and fulfillment and gratitude for what it is that is going on in your life, there's no need. There's no need to. But for us who are looking to create from our minds and from our hearts, our intention to create in our business what we want our business to be. If we're not all the way in alignment with what it is that we intend, then we need to be willing to learn. We need to be willing to listen. And I know for me, for sure, there's going to be a couple of episodes of You Feel That where we on a beach somewhere with whales, or we going to do a couple episodes on the boat. We're going to do a couple episodes in the Tesla. I'm going to do an episode in the Tesla just because I know there's people that are a part of my journey that, want to see me in the Tesla. They want to see me in the Tesla. They know that that's part of my vision board. So that's what's in alignment with my intention. I am grateful right now in this moment. I am joyful right now in this moment. I am fucking fired up right now in this moment. And I have not completely manifested what it is that I intend to manifest. So that's what we're going to do. And there's more work to be done. And there's more to learn. And there's more to allow to come through my vessel. There's more to allow to come through my creative mindset. There's more to allow to come through my business. It's more to allow. And to allow more is to allow for growth. So can we tap into growth? Can we tap into growth? Or do you just know? Or do you, I don't need to hear anything. I already know it all. I know. All right, bro. All right, bro. We'll see how that works for you. So how can I be confident in what I know and still allow for growth? It's a practice. It's a practice. And before we get out of here, I do want to speak a little bit on for my entrepreneurs, how I struggle with putting myself in a position of authority in business because of my spiritual inclinations, like me being tapped into the fact that, the more I learn, the more I find out I don't know. And so, who am I to say that I'm the authority in this field? Well, in business, like imagine if you went to the bread aisle and you went to go get some Wonder Bread and it said Kinda Bread. This kind of bread, we know you, but only person who could really answer if this is bread is you. But for us, we know that there's so many different breads to understand. And it's like, nah, you want the Wonder Bread. You want the bread that knows that it's bread, that knows that it's the best bread for you right now. So we, in business, when we're branding and when we're marketing our business and we're trying to get in front of the people who we really want to be able to talk to, we have to be okay with putting ourselves in a position of authority. And this is not for me, I thought it would be this. I thought it would feel like this, like planting your feet in cement that says, oh, I'm this guy now. But as I've learned, I've changed what it is that I'm here to contribute in wording so many times, but the foundation stays the same. The foundation is I want to be compassionate and understanding in business. The foundation is I want to help people grow. I want to help people develop. I want to help people walk in the face of fear and do the things that they feel that maybe they can't do, and show them how they could do it, and show them how I did it, and show them where I came from, because maybe they ain't even come from the shit that I came from. So maybe they see, oh, you came from addiction. You came from being a parent at 16. You came from this lower middle class neighborhood. You came from being a black man. You came from, I damn sure could do it. The foundation stays the same. And when I have a better understanding, maybe the messaging changes, maybe the vehicle changes, but the foundation stays the same. My foundation in seeking how to contribute to society stays the same. So don't trip. Give yourself compassion, have compassion and understanding for your process, and allow yourself to show up and figure it out. But put yourself in a position of authority. Place yourself as the go-to for what it is that you have to offer, so you can learn more about what it takes to be that. Like everybody want to be the king, but you don't figure out what it takes to be the king until you try to put yourself in a position to be the king, and you see like, oh, this is the requirement. Maybe this ain't even what I want, or maybe this is what I want, but I haven't been doing that. So let me figure out how I could do that so I can contribute that. And also, this is super big when it comes to allow for growth. And I spoke about it a bit when I'm talking about like subliminally, when I'm talking about like having mentors. Find mentors, and mentors are important in a way that they allow for that door that you've creaked open to allow for more understanding to be kind of kicked in with somebody that's like, oh, you have that, I can have that, or oh, you do that, I'm that, I want to be that, or oh, you feel that way, or you feel that, you know, me too, you know, so how can I do that like you? Mentors are above and beyond one of the biggest things that have enabled me to change my life. To go from busted and disgusted to trusted and encrusted, you know what I'm saying, with diamonds and all, you know, but you know, it's like, you know. That's it, man. I'm out y'all here today. I hope y'all really enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you're getting as excited as I am about the growth of this podcast, the growth of the mission statement, the growth of our community. And if you've been watching my growth, I hope that it inspires you, because I ain't know what the fuck I was doing. We also got a gratitude challenge going on this week. We got about 10 or 11 people in it, and it's been wonderful. Today is actually the first day that we're running it. So if you want to join it, text gratitude to 313-254-5972. That is 313-254-5972, and join the free gratitude challenge, which ends this upcoming Sunday in a free Zoom call with me on it. I'll be on the Zoom call in the flesh. So the person that you be hearing these podcasts and watching these videos, I'll be there in person. And you get to kick it with me and ask me questions about, you know, your own personal manifestations, how you use gratitude. We'll talk about our experience throughout the week of sharing our gratitude list, and it'll be super dope. So definitely text 313-254-5972 if you're seeing and listening to this podcast the week of March 14th. If not, you might have missed it, but I might do another one. Who knows? It won't be as cool as this one, though. So join this one. And with that, I'm out. And as always, be intentional, love on each other, and have compassion for your process. I'll catch you next time on You Feel That? With Bryce the Third.